Thank y'all for tuning back in to the channel. To all my new subscribers, we got a special show for y'all today. Don't forget to hit that like button, drop down in the comments. And big salute to all my brothers and sisters down in the chat. You know, big salute to y'all. And if you're not getting the notifications, you know how to do it. Unsubscribe, subscribe again, hit that notification bell, and you'll be back rolling where you get the notifications every time I drop a video. Big salute to all the dog lovers from one side of the world to the other side. Special news, update on the South Carolina situation as well. Like I said, this is a special edition. You know, first we're going to go get straight into this thing. We got an update on the Stony Green situation. And for y'all who don't know who I'm talking about, it was a brother who was running for or had office in North Carolina, but he was forced to resign because they found out that he was busted at a dog fight a couple years ago. You know, so they forced him to resign. Some more things came out, so we got an update on that. We're going to get into that. Then we're going to get into our South Carolina dog situation. So y'all check this out. PBK9s, Stony Green, North Carolina. Some folk going to like it. Some folk ain't when it comes to Stony. Some folk going to like it. Some folk ain't. It just is what it is, man. Y'all check it out.
Dog Bites Man by Jacob Biba. In the fall of 2001, police in New Jersey raided an Ocean County warehouse to break up an illegal dogfighting ring, acting on a tip from the advocacy group People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. They seized more than $30,000 in cash and 4 pit bull terrier dogs, 2 of which had serious wounds and were later euthanized, according to police reports. More than 40 people were arrested in the bust and charged with crimes like criminal trespass, witness or paying admission to animal fighting, and gambling on the outcome of animal fighting, including Stony Green, a North Carolina Republican currently serving on the Wilkes County Board of Commissioners. Green, who lost the GOP primary for NC House District 94, served as the chair of the county commission before stepping down from the position last month after revelations of his arrest surfaced on GoWilkes.net, an online community message board. In a letter to commissioners, Green said he believed it would be in the best interests of the county and the commission if he were to step aside as chairman, the Wilkes Journal-Patriot reported, but he stopped short of leaving the board. That wasn't enough to satisfy many in this rural Republican stronghold in northwestern North Carolina. A public Facebook group calling for his resignation from the board now has more than 600 members and has become a community hub where more allegations about Green have surfaced, including claims of domestic violence. A 2014 police report obtained by the Assembly from the York County Sheriff's Office in South Carolina details an allegation of a physical assault involving Green and his then-wife. People also use the Facebook group, which was created by local personal trainer Megan Barnett, to post more mundane things, like complaints about Green wearing a cowboy hat indoors and video of him doing a keg stand at a 2017 dog show in New Jersey, where Green participated as a judge. Others are more serious. In 2019, a judge with the American Dog Breeders Association accused Green of sharing intimate photos of her with other judges. The group investigated but found no evidence corroborating the allegations. Green also denied sharing the photos but agreed to delete them, according to a letter his attorney sent in response to a cease and desist order Green received. The public Facebook page created to oust Green. When asked about all the claims made against him, Green told the Assembly in a text message that people can make all kinds of allegations to fit their narrative at the time and the situation. The Wilkes County Commissioners, all fellow Republicans, recently voted to urge Green to resign. The local Republican Party backed the motion. Politics is a very dirty and conniving thing to be a part of, Green said. There are a lot of half-truths that people that do not know me or my chapter are betraying as facts or who I am. This is why good people do not get involved in serving the majority of the people. The minority only want to tear you down. Barnett, a registered Democrat, told the Assembly the outcry has had at least one bright spot. Community members from both sides of the political divide are finally in agreement on an issue. Animal cruelty, even decades-old allegations about it, appears to be a red line no elected official can cross without suffering political repercussions. Wrong place, wrong time. Green isn't the only public figure caught up in dogfighting backlash. Last year, prosecutors charged a senior Pentagon official with running an illegal dogfighting ring in Maryland. And then there's the well-known case of ex-NFL quarterback Michael Vick, who in 2007 pleaded guilty in federal court to a felony charge related to his involvement in a Virginia operation. Wilkes County, too, has a history of dogfighting. A year after Vick's guilty plea, more than 125 pit bulls were seized from the property of Wildside Kennels owner Ed Farron, a breeder who is often referred to locally as the godfather of dogfighting. Farron pleaded guilty to 14 counts of felony dogfighting, and a judge later ordered all the dogs to be euthanized. Green has appeared in photos with Farron and described him as someone who had been very influential in my knowledge of American Pit Bull Terriers, according to a bio for the 2017 Tri-State APBT Club event. In an early March interview with the Wilkes Journal-Patriot, Green said that he attended the dogfight in New Jersey in 2001 and that he participated in dog show competitions involving pit bulls during this period. But in this instance, Green said that he was merely at the wrong place at the wrong time. Green told a detective in an interview early on the morning after his arrest that he was in New Jersey to see a dog show, according to the police report. But when questioned further, Green, who was in his mid-20s at the time, conceded that by dog show, he really meant dogfight. Prosecutors in New Jersey charged Green with 1 count each of criminal trespass, being present at a dogfight, and gambling on it. He entered a pretrial diversion program, according to local news reports at the time. Pretrial diversion programs typically include drug screening and fines and other penalties, and charges could be dismissed once those are completed. Punishment for others arrested at the event ranged from fines and community service to a 4-year prison term. In February, Green had his record in New Jersey expunged, he told the Wilkes Journal-Patriot. The Ocean County Prosecutor's Office confirmed there were no records of charges filed against Green. Then he resigned as chair just before a March 19th County Commission meeting. A map showing Wilkes County, NC, image via Wikimedia Commons. At the meeting, he voted in favor of a resolution urging Wilkes's congressional delegation to pass bipartisan federal legislation that would strengthen laws against cockfighting and dogfighting. It was the right move for Commissioner Stoney Green to resign his chairmanship and to back the resolution urging Congress to upgrade enforcement tools to wipe out animal fighting in North Carolina and throughout the nation. Wayne Packel, president of the animal rights group Animal Wellness Action, which is behind the legislation, said in a news release. Packel proposed the resolution after his group opposed Green's State House bid. The Surrey County Board of Commissioners passed a similar resolution the night before. During public comment at that meeting, Barnett asked the board to censure Green for violating the board's code of ethics from top to bottom, predicting that Green would remain the board's albatross if they didn't. Other than harming a child, there's nothing worse than animal cruelty, Barnett told the assembly. Green's dogfighting has not only enraged people across the office, she said. I know at some point, when this is resolved, and things go back to normal, that everything will go back to baseline, Barnett said. And I wish it didn't have to. There's some dreamy little part of my brain that wishes people could learn that we're all the same, you know, kind of a kumbaya message. Emotion. Emotion? Outside the dogfighting concerns, the Wilkes County Commission has faced a string of complaints tied to Green over the last 5 months. A Christian heritage proclamation that Green championed, which we previously reported on, brought threats of lawsuits from national organizations like Americans United for the Separation of Church and State. Tensions also mounted about the potential purchase of property from Lowe's Corporation to house the county's health department and Department of Social Services during Green's time as chair. The county didn't pursue the purchase, which some believed would have been a cost-effective approach to addressing the county's facility needs. At its April 16 meeting, the board first voted to rescind Green's Christian Heritage Proclamation and replace it with a Religious Heritage Week proclamation, which passed 3-2. Then the commissioners voted 4-1 in favor of a motion calling for Green's immediate resignation. The motion came from Commissioner Greg Minton, who said the controversy surrounding Green had been a distraction for the board and county staff and an impediment to good government. Green was the lone vote against it. Screenshot of video from April 16 vote. The motion carries no legal weight, Wilkes County Attorney Tony Triplett told the assembly after the meeting. He noted that in his more than 30 years with the county, this was the first time a motion has called for a sitting member's resignation. The options for removing an elected official in North Carolina are limited, Robert Joyce, a professor of public law and government at the UNC School of Government, said in an email. The chief one is for the voters to vote the person out at the next election, Joyce said. Another option to remove Green, who's in his second year of a 4-year term, would be through something known as a motion, an obscure procedure rooted in common law doctrine that allows a board to remove a member if there's just cause for misconduct or unfitness for office. Joyce said he believes there must be a clear, demonstrable connection between conduct and the duties of the office for an motion removal to stand. North Carolina law does not provide a recall option for elected members of county commissions. If the entire GOP says you got to resign, that's pretty damning, Catherine Charles, the chair of the Wilkes County Democratic Party, told the assembly after the vote. Earlier, during public comment, she implored Green to step down. You can continue to hide under your cowboy hat and Bible verses, but at the end of the day, it is honesty, trustworthiness, moral uprightness, and human decency that matter, she said. Barnett told the assembly shortly after the vote that she was surprised by the board's motion. I feel like people listened, she said. It just makes me feel really good about being a Wilkes County resident. Outside the county office building, Republican Commissioner Keith Elmore, who has served on the board for more than 20 years, referred to Barnett as my hero as she passed him on her way to her car. Elmore said the controversy over Green has made running county government even more difficult. Everybody's done things they're not proud of, Elmore said. But everybody's not a county commissioner either. He hopes Green steps down, if not for the sake of the county, then for the sake of his family and himself personally. But Green told the assembly he won't resign. I'm not guilty of anything, he said.
Now, when it comes to the politics, you know how it go. They start bringing all kind of stuff out, the things you did when you was a teenager, damn near, But I just felt like this would be an interesting story for some of my brothers, especially my North Carolina brothers that lives in this area or in this district. You just see how it go. No matter how much you try to change your life sometimes, stuff in the past can come back to haunt you. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't have that type of past yet, or a past that can haunt you in that way, go ahead and make it straight, man. Go ahead and make it straight. Keep it straight, because I'm quite sure, like I always say, man, everybody make mistakes. So what, you make a mistake, if you're allowed to still be here on this soil, to keep going by the laws, then, after a period of time, where you going to keep dwelling on that mistake forever? Certain mistakes, I understand. You know what I'm saying? But certain mistakes don't deserve to be dwelled on forever. If you're talking about child molestation or something like that, we're dealing with kids and all that, yeah, all that type of stuff, and rape and all that, yeah, all that type of stuff, deserves to be called out if you get back in something later on, no matter if it's teenage years or what. But stuff like, you talking about dog fighting, you talking about bar fighting, getting drunk, DUIs, man, that stuff don't matter, man. Brothers can change. It don't take 30 years for a brother to change, to be in the wrong place at the wrong time and decide this year he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. 6 months from now, he a whole different brother. It's no time limit to say how long it takes for 1 or 2 or 3 brothers or sisters to change. Everybody is different. It might take you 30 days to make a completely turnaround change. You was never the same person again. Well, it might take another person years, and plus some actions and other things to change before they change. Everybody's different, man. But that's Stony Green, North Carolina. And he said he's running back for it again because like he heard at the end of the video, he said he ain't did nothing wrong and he ain't quitting. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into this South Carolina stuff, man. Because we're gonna take it back. 'Cause a lot of my brothers just joined the channel. I want to take it back because you probably can't find the video right now. So I'm going to take it back and show you where this thing all started at. We're going to go back to 2022. 2022 when, You had, to my brothers and sisters who just subscribing to the channel and went logged in when we was talking about all this stuff. 2022, you had South Carolina's biggest dogfighting bust to go down. Where over 300 dogs was confiscated in the whole thing. They made multiple arrests, city to city. Had 20-some warrants to raid different locations. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about biggest raid in South Carolina history. We're going back to that. We're going to check the footage out. We're going to hit the one in the middle that happened last year for 2023. And then we're going to hit the one for 2024 because I got some updates for you on that, as well. So let's get into this 2022 Carolina Classic.
It's pitch black outside a South Carolina church. At the ready are dozens of armed law enforcement officers. Today, they're seizing fighting dogs. Behind them,
I'm definitely anxious. I'm always anxious to see the dogs.
we ride along with the federal prosecutor overseeing the criminal case.
It's heartbreaking. I get very emotional.
Emotional because of how vicious dogfighting is, made all the more clear in court documents. Dogs who have been fought may have scars, puncture wounds, swollen faces, or mangled ears. In one case, prosecutors say an owner killed his dog by hanging it, and authorities found this contraption made from jumper cables, allegedly used to electrocute dogs, inside the home of a Pentagon employee. The illegal sport has spiked federal interest. Last year, officials seized roughly 400 dogs from suspected fighting rings, more than in any other year since at least 2007, according to a CNN review of civil forfeitures. Jane Taylor tells me she was a lifelong narcotics prosecutor until she first saw the injuries on fighting dogs.
I had a case where we had a wiretap and we were listening to the calls of the individuals involved in drugs, and we started hearing a lot of conversations about dogs and dog fighting.
We arrive at the first of 5 homes. What sort of things are you on the lookout for when you enter a property?
I'm looking at the conditions of the dogs themselves. I'm looking for any sort of scarring, any fresh wounds. And then I'm also looking for what I'll call dog fighting paraphernalia.
Like these treadmills to make the dogs stronger and faster, and
Something called spring pulls, where the dogs are used to jump up and they latch on it. It's supposed to strengthen their jaws.
experts say dogs are often tied down with heavy chains and weighted collars to increase their strength. Some dog fighters inject their animals with drugs or vitamins to increase aggression. And before a big fight, some fighting dogs are starved to keep them in their weight class, like a boxer. Tucked away in this wooded area, federal agents find the first of roughly 120 pit bulls that would be seized in what will turn out to be South Carolina's second largest single-day seizure of fighting dogs ever, say investigators. They're photographed and loaded into trailers to get medical care and shelter.
When we go onto a property, they'll wag their tail because they haven't had any interaction, friendly interaction.
Major Frank O'Neill with the South Carolina State Law Enforcement Division.
They've been abused either by the owner and a fighting dog. It breaks your heart.
People are making a lot of money off of this. My opinion, even $1 is too much to be making money off of this.
And there are plenty of ways to get paid. According to court documents in South Carolina, participants paid $200,000 to have their animals fight against a top dog. Another fighting dog won over $50,000. The owner of a champion dog can make even more money on semen, stud fees, and puppies.
Many of them are drug traffickers because they have to fund gambling of these dogs. And these dogs are very expensive. They're going to have weapons. And if we haven't already arrested them, the chances are we will arrest them in another arena.
Inside this home, officers find several guns. The homeowner declined to speak with CNN. Federal agents pack up and head to the next house.
We're about 20 minutes out. They say there's about 12 dogs.
Dogfighting became a felony at the federal level back in 2007. The maximum sentence a suspect can face is 5 years in federal prison. Meanwhile, for the animals, experts say that some dogs are too aggressive to rehabilitate, but others can be adopted and get a second chance at life. Isabel Rosales, CNN, Atlanta.
Now, I know, after we watch this with the next little bit of stuff and the next stuff over the past 2 years, this is all in a 2-year period, not even a whole complete 2 years, a year and a half, all this information that you get, is coming from a year and a half worth of time. You know, now common sense tell any brother, common sense tell you, you know, the watch your ass. And that don't mean literally just turn around and look, see if anybody behind you. This is a different kind of ass watching. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I ain't here to talk about all that. I'm just here to give the whole situation, how it went down from the first to the end. You know, and this ain't the end. It's ongoing and active. And this for my brothers and sisters that just subscribed to the channel, that just logged in maybe over the past couple months and you wasn't here 2 years ago when I dropped these videos. You know what I'm saying? So y'all check this out. This is last year, 2023, when they confiscated 100 some dogs in South Carolina. You know, the first time was 300. The second time was 100. And all we know is from this, the last time, is they got 2 out the square. You know, we haven't got all of the information yet. You know, we haven't got all of the information yet, but we got an update on it, and I'm going to give y'all that as well. But y'all check this out, because we had the Carolina Classic, which resulted to this one we about to hear right now that happened last year, 2023, in South Carolina. The Midlands. Don't get it wrong, folk. This ain't happening all across South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? You got the Midlands is where it's happening at. See? The Midlands. Brothers in all other parts seem to know how to conduct, themselves. You got brothers in the low country. You talking Charleston and all that. You got the Grand Strand area, the beach area. You know, we on the water side. Then you got the Midlands. You know what I'm saying? That's all them boys on that side over there. That's everything that been happening with the Carolina Classic. Everything that been happening last year. You know what I'm saying? You had a couple brothers here and there that from different little areas that that got they dogs or whatever taken. But far as that Carolina Classic situation and the 100 and some dogs that got took when they had the 20 some warrants the next day, all that happened from the Midlands. You know what I'm saying? Remember I was telling y'all the Midlands, one bulldog area back in the days. I'm gonna tell you what the Midlands known for. To my brothers who just logging in, subscribing, the Midlands known for making superstars, NFL players, NBA players, Major League Baseball players. We throw a couple baseball players off our side, and we threw some NFL players off our side. But the Midlands, we talking Shannon Sharp style. You know what I'm saying? Who the other brothers? Check the Midland, South Carolina, Spartanburg, Columbia area. You know, that's where the Midlands is where the girls basketball team at. The South Carolina Gamecocks. You know, that's all the Midlands. Where them boys got tore off at, that's where the South Carolina Gamecock Stadium at. You know, where that happened at this past Saturday. You know, South Carolina Gamecocks. All that's the Midlands. You know,
the Humane Society of the United States and Bark Nation are both helping care for more than 300 dogs that were rescued from several counties over the weekend. Investigators think at least 275 of them were used to fight. Agents also recovered 30 guns, $40,000 in cash, and equipment used in dogfighting.
We had one kind of juvenile dog with what the vets suspect is a broken leg, also appeared to have puncture, like a bite wound that may have broken the leg. So today we're doing all of those further vet exams and diagnoses. We did have to send one of them to the emergency vet.
On Saturday, officers raided a dogfighting match in Richland County. Then the next day, they executed search warrants at several properties and residences in Richland, York, Orangeburg, Clarendon, Lee, and Sumter counties. Adam Periscandola says the costs associated with the crimes add up in care for the abused animals.
There is no way for them to have like the costs of care paid for, so they have to take that on, or the taxpayers have to take it on.
The group was leaning on partners to help with facilities and services as the dogs heal. The people arrested face a number of charges. Several agencies, including SLED, are still investigating. In Columbia, I'm Sydney Edwards. Watch Fox News. Local First.
300 dogs were rescued this weekend when federal and state law enforcement officers executed nearly 24 warrants for properties here in the Midlands. Now, the Department of Justice says, oh, that sweet baby, it could be the biggest takedown of dog fighting operations in South Carolina history. 305 dogs rescued. 275 of these poor creatures are said to have been used in dog fights. Law enforcement also got 30 guns, $40,000 in cash, and other evidence related to dog fighting. More than 20 people have been arrested on state charges relating to animal cruelty and, again, dog fighting.
We got 2023. Let's get into it.
Some 120 dogs were seized Thursday following a dog-fighting bust that took place across the Midlands in upstate South Carolina. The U.S. Attorney's Office for South Carolina has confirmed it is the largest single seizure of dogs from South Carolina dog-fighting rings since a 60-agency effort recovered more than 300 dogs and saw the arrest of more than 20 people almost exactly 1 year ago. That operation was believed to be the largest single-day, single-state dog-fighting bust in the country. Thursday's operation is believed to have been the second largest, investigators say. We've said it before and I'll say it again. Dog-fighting operations will find no refuge here in South Carolina, U.S. Attorney Adair Burrows told the state. The U.S. Attorney's Office confirmed that 10 search warrants were executed at properties across the Midlands in the upstate. Investigators from the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Office of the Inspector General led the investigation. They were assisted by agents from SLED, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms, and local law enforcement agencies. No federal arrests were made Thursday, the U.S. Attorney's Office confirmed. The state has contacted SLED for more information about local arrests. Narcotics and weapons were also found during Thursday's operation, which grew out of leads generated by the ongoing investigation from last September's bust. Investigators confirmed to the state. The Animal Welfare Act makes it a felony punishable by up to 5 years in federal prison to fight dogs or to possess, train, sell, buy, deliver, receive or transport dogs intended for use in dog fighting. Dog fighting is also illegal in South Carolina under the 1986 Animal Fighting and Baiting Act and punishable by up to 5 years in prison and a $5,000 fine. Dog fighting in South Carolina. Last year's bust was a watershed moment in the history of combating dog fighting in South Carolina. The rescue of 305 dogs and the arrest of 20 people made it one of the largest single dog fighting busts since a 6-state operation centered around Missouri rescued 500 dogs, mostly pit bulls. 2009, the Missouri 500 inches remains the largest dog fighting bust in U.S. history. Last September's operation was the culmination of a months-long investigation that involved the surveillance of multiple properties that were being used to breed, raise and train dogs, primarily pit bulls, for dog fighting. In a 37-page search warrant, an investigator for the Department of Agriculture described seeing dogs with deep scars on their bodies kept at properties around the state. The dogs were being kept in isolation from one another and wearing heavy chains that were staked to the ground or wrapped around trees. The massive law enforcement operation began on September 23, 2022, when law enforcement interrupted a scheduled dog fighting match in Richland County. The next morning, the officers executed 23 search warrants at residences and properties in Richland, York, Orangeburg, Clarendon, Lee and Sumter counties that were known dog fighting kennels or associated with dog fighting. In addition to rescuing the animals, officers seized about 30 guns, $40,000 in cash and evidence related to dog fighting, according to the release. To force dogs to fight, often to the death, for the enjoyment of others is not only a federal crime, it is also cruel, sadistic and can create a haven for other illicit activities involving drugs and firearms, said Burrows said at the time. As South Carolina's Attorney General, Governor Henry McMaster started a dog fighting task force and worked with federal authorities to prosecute dog fighters in an attempt to stamp out the black market sport in South Carolina, which was often linked to other crimes including drug dealing. The depravity involved in carrying out a dog fighting conspiracy is unimaginable to most people, and those involved in such a crime must be rooted out and punished, McMaster said following last year's bust. But the blood sport has proven a stubborn problem in South Carolina. In 2004, the state took an in-depth look at dog fighting, uncovering an underworld of animal cruelty and crime related to dogfighting. And the problem is not just limited to the state's rural corners. In 2017, federal authorities raided at 2 properties in the Columbia area and arrested 3 family members, recovering more than 40 dogs that were being kept for an animal fighting business.
And to my brother that was down in the chat, saying, we want to see all different kinds of news, I give it to you, my brother. Ain't no dog saved nobody this week. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no dog saved nobody this week. And ain't nobody, lost no dogs this week. We can always find some animal cruelty when they cut them cats and all that stuff. But right now we talking about them dogs, And if that wasn't enough for y'all brothers from the Midlands, you know what I'm saying? We going 2024. 2024, where another large-scale dogfighting operation was busted in the same area. Same area, maybe not the same house, but the same area. Now, all I can do is give you the news. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm here for. I ain't gonna do too much talking. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you. All my new subscribers, you had a 2022, you had a 2023, here go your 2024. Let's get into it.
More than a dozen people in Richland County are now charged in connection with dog fighting. Now on Saturday, 2 dogs were rescued from an active fight and taken in for emergency care. And SLED said at the scene they seized multiple firearms and more than $80,000 in cash. The suspects are charged with animal fighting and baiting. Now go and head to our website, foxcarolina.com, so you can see the full list of suspects and those charges they now face.
Carolina Law Enforcement Division charged 13 people with animal fighting and baiting. According to SLED agents, 2 dogs were rescued from an active fight on Saturday in Richland County. Authorities say they found multiple firearms and more than $84,000 in cash at the scene. The dogs were taken to an emergency vet for treatment. All 13 suspects were booked into the Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center. The investigation still ongoing tonight.
13 men are facing charges after authorities say they were involved in dogfighting here in Richland County this weekend. The incident happened Saturday night on McCord's Ferry Road in Lower Richland County. According to SLED, when investigators got there, they found an active dogfight. 2 dogs were rescued and were taken to a local veterinarian for treatment. SLED agents working alongside the Richland County Sheriff's Department say they also seized multiple firearms and over $84,000 in cash. The men were all booked at the Richland County Jail on charges of animal fighting and baiting. In the citation papers released by SLED, the men are set to have a hearing in magistrate court. The date has not been set yet.
The State Law Enforcement Division has now charged 13 people in Richland County with animal fighting and baiting. Take a look at the long list of names right there for you. Now, we're told that the arrest happened on Saturday, April 20th. 2 dogs were rescued during an active fight Saturday night in Richland County, and they were taken to a local emergency vet for treatment. Right now, we don't have any other information about their conditions, but we do know that law enforcement seized firearms and over $84,000 in cash at the scene of the dogfight. SLED partnered with the Richland County Sheriff's Office for the operation, and the subjects, all 13 of them that you see listed out there, were booked into the Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center in Richland County. However, the investigation is still active and ongoing, so anyone with information about dogfighting in South Carolina is asked to submit tips to SLED at tips@sled.sc.gov. This charge carries with it a $5,000 fine or 5 years in prison or both.
Now, what I will say is, when you listen to some of these videos, they tell you that some of the charges be misdemeanors. And like I said before, it's not about, oh, you get caught fighting dogs, you're going to go do the rest of your life in jail or not like that. I'm not even saying that. This conversation is not about what you're going to do. It's just about relieving yourself of stress. You know what I'm saying? Unwanted stress. That ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying? That ain't worth it. You had 22, 23, 24 in the same area that I just gave you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, common sense would tell brothers, whoever, doing these things, because this is a brother from, it's 2 or 3 more busts that happened right on the borderline of South and North Carolina that I didn't even add into this situation. You know what I'm saying? From Statesville, North Carolina, and another one that happened that I didn't put into this situation, and all of them was tied in together. As far as they saying they was tied in together, the news people, you know, seem like folk would like say, if you was gonna do something illegal, don't go where you see people going to jail at every day. Like whatever you doing that's breaking these laws, why would you go to a place that you see people going down for it every single week, every single month? Just to say you came to the Carolinas, I came to the Carolinas during the hot period. They call this the hot zone, hot times. You know what I'm saying? Not, you know, we got back in the days and this the hot times. They came during the hot times. That must be something to brag about. You know, I came to the Carolinas during the hot times and did my dog, you know. I just told y'all boys, y'all brag about the wrong things on Facebook too much to be saying y'all in the dog game. All that bragging about this dog and that dog a couple weeks ago, now it make all that bragging make you want to go out there to the square yourself, don't it? Now let's talk a little bit about Mellow Yellow and the significance of her blood to me, you know, and I got to break this down in another form so some brothers can understand it and where I'm coming from with it. You know, everybody dog is great. Everybody dog, you know, means the same thing my dog means to me. Everybody else dog means to them. You know what I'm saying? But this is why I'm telling you and why I'm explaining. Okay, now if you got, say, Bolio, and you got another dog coming off Bolio litter, off of Zeke as well, and he coming off Bolio litter, all right? But everybody else got, you know, a lot of people got dogs off of Zeke, but you the only one got a dog off Bolio. A lot of people got dogs off Zeke, Zeke's sons, you know what I'm saying, Zeke daughters, but you the only one got one off Bolio. You know what I'm saying? Or let me put it like this. Right? Put it like this. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Everybody got dogs off Zeke. You know, it's no different than if we got, say, Jeep and his brother Charlie. Okay, now, if everybody got dogs off Jeep, and I'm the only one with a dog off Charlie, you know what I'm saying? We don't got the same stuff. We got the same, but we don't got the same. You know, yeah, they all the same litter, but at the end of the day, this is off Charlie. You know, and yours is off Jeep. I can't call my dog a Jeep dog. The same way you can't say your dog is a Charlie dog. There's no way I can breed my dog 100% with Charlie and say this is a Jeep dog. Yeah, I can say this is a honey bunch or whatever like that. Yeah, you can say all that when it come down to the pedigree. But as far as the actual dog himself, that's why I always say each dog represent themselves, you know, and that's why the significance of Mellow Yellow to me is because, and why I wouldn't let nothing even scratch it. Like raccoons and stuff, no, man, I ain't playing that. Listen, I can get them buddy dogs again. I can get them quick dogs again. I can get the Wrangler dogs. I can get all them dogs, but you can't get the hacksaw dogs again. You know, brothers got the Jocko stuff. Jocko males, Jocko females. But you won't get the hacksaw stuff unless you get it from Mellow Yellow, her brothers, her sister. That's the significance of Mellow Yellow them. You know, a lot of that Big John stuff out there, no doubt. But it was only 5 of them puppies off Mellow Yellow them litter. And this wasn't a litter that was bred like a lot of brothers' dog is bred when they buy 2 or 3 dogs and they do the breedings themselves. This wasn't a breeder made like that. This was a breeder made by Mr. Carver, made by Mr. Boudreaux, made by the people that had the dog. So you don't actually know what the conversation was before the breeding was made. You don't know why the breeding was made. You don't know why I chose this dog over that dog, this dog over that dog. As dog men, we all know none of y'all, us, tell everything when it comes to your program, when it comes to your fitness and getting your dog right, because you never know when you got to compete against some of the brothers you're talking to. So it's like, I just wanted to explain a little bit and, what I'm saying, give brothers some, other dog talk outside of the news, for the day. But when it comes to Mellow Yellow and all of her litter, or a brother would say, oh, her daddy off Buddy and Ronda Rousey. I got a dog off Buddy and Ronda Rousey. Yes, you got Jeep, I got Charlie. Different dogs. I have to explain it that way so you can understand it, because when we just use each other dogs, y'all like to say little mates is the same thing. Little mates is the same pedigree, but don't always produce the same kind of dogs. Don't always produce the same kind of dogs. How many little mates y'all probably can pull up out there real quick that you know of? Little mates, one brother did something, but the other one didn't. I ain't talking about match-wise, I'm talking about production-wise. They don't always produce the same. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Just because he don't produce the same, another thing, just because he don't produce the same, don't mean he produces bad. It just means he don't produce the same. He might produce better. He might produce a different style of dog. It just depends which way the pendulum fall in that situation. But yeah, man. To each his own when it comes to y'all bloods. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, always represent the brothers that's taking care of their dogs, doing the right things with them dogs. You know what I'm saying? Hey, everybody different, man. Some brothers take dogs like Mellow Yellow and any other line that you may have only 1 or 2 of them dogs, and you may have to preserve certain things. Brothers will be like, oh, I got to see this, I got to see that, I got to see this, I got to see that. And then you end up losing a dog, and then months, a year or 2 later, you wish you had that same dog, because you want to get gassed up off of your peer pressure, get gassed up off of wanting to have that ego, you know what I'm saying? When in the long run, you should have kept the better dog. And then we ask each other and we ask ourselves, what makes a dog, in them days, good enough to not touch, or not check, What makes a dog that good back then that you just not fucking with him? You just gonna breed him. Off top, he was made to breed. Off top. And a lot of times when you make decisions like that, you gotta have experience in that line of dogs that you're dealing with. If you got experience in that line of dogs you're dealing with, you kind of know what you got when you get that puppy. And again, like I always say, experience don't mean buying 1 or 2 dogs. Experience is experience, the same way experience is in every damn thing. Experience, in a particular line, the ups, the downs, the lefts, the rights, the circles, the squares, the rectangles, whatever it is in that particular line, you know about it. So then you're going to know the percentages and all that of how the puppies come out. If you're looking for dogs that's good on weight pull, you're going to know these dogs ain't good for that. They built off conformation. They good structured dogs, but they not dogs built for the weight pull or built for, wall climbing. I'm not sure if dogs can be built for that, but, you know what kind of dogs you getting when you deal with that line. Just basically what I'm saying, you know. And no matter what y'all brothers, your young brothers, your older brothers, or whatever, especially the younger ones, no matter what you think, because you bought 1 or 2 dogs from a brother, you think you know that line, man, you don't know shit about that line. You know? You don't know nothing about it. Besides what you got in your yard right there. Now, if you've been dealing with that line before you got that, that's a different story. And when I say dealing with a line, I don't mean, oh, you buying a Mayday dog. See, this is what brothers will do. Because you bought a Mayday dog from him, he running a certain kind of Mayday dogs. I'm running a certain kind of Mayday dogs. That don't mean because you got action, that don't mean I got action when it comes to confirmation or treadmill. You know what I'm saying? Yours might be running full throttle. Mayday dogs running full throttle. I got Mayday dogs too, but they ain't running like your dogs is. They ain't active as your dogs is. You know, every dog carry their own traits and own genes, even though they got the same pedigrees and backgrounds. We just don't realize that because we fell back to the pedigrees for at least a good 15 to 10 years now. 10 to 15 years now. You know, just fell back to the pedigrees, relying on the pairs to sell your dogs. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the brothers who do their thing out there, whatever, you know, none of us can agree with that, like I always say. You know, y'all got to keep that over there. We'll keep our little legal selves walking on this side. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, man, you know, it's all about what's valuable to you, knowing what you got, taking pride in what you got, understanding the line that you got, never being to the point where you saying, I can't let this go. You know what I'm saying? I can't move on to something better or try something better. You know what I'm saying? But don't, and then another thing, you know, don't be rushed to get rid of something that ain't what you might want to call mediocre at first, because you see something new that you got, you know, and you might think it's a certain way, but don't be rushed to get rid of, you know, that particular dog. Say if that dog, you done seen a bad sign in him or something, or maybe he stopped one time or something like that, and you was gonna keep him just to breed him. You know what I'm saying? But now you got something that you maybe think that's a little bit above him. But check the line out, man. Learn the line, learn the dogs, because you know what I'm saying, I feel like that's one of the most important things, and it can help you save a lot of money in the long run. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what you're getting. You know what kind of quality product you're getting when you get them dogs. You know, even if it ain't buying the dogs, but reading up on the dogs, checking the pictures out of this dog, that dog, seeing how this dog shaped, seeing how that dog shaped, what this dog doing, what this dog head title is, what he bringing to the table. You know what I'm saying? For the people that's breeding to him and the people that got offspring off of them. You don't always have to, especially modern day times, you don't have to go buy the dog. It's too much information to find out about the dogs. You know what I'm saying? And shit. Only thing you can't find out is something illegal. And we ain't about to talk about that. We done did a whole lot of talking at the beginning of the video about that. You know what I'm saying? Do what you do. Like I always say, if the shoe fit, wear it. You know? If the shoe fit, wear it. But y'all keep taking care of them dogs, man. I'm going to keep giving you that news. Y'all stay safe out there. Y'all stay legal out there. And remember, we y'all heard it first. PBK9, dog, talk, and news. You know, and I'm out.